Good evening, everyone. This is the 7 o'clock City Council meeting. It's 9/22/2015. Before we will go into executive session pursuant to KR 61.8101B. That will be at the end of the deliberations on future acquisition of real property by a public agency, but only when the publication will likely affect the value of the piece of property to be acquired for the public use by a public agency. So, we'll start with number one. I want to recognize groups and individuals, and if anyone has anything to say, I'd like to start out with Kyle Snow. If you'll step forward, please. Mr. Kyle Snow, as Mayor of Bardstown and with the City Council, we would like to offer you congratulations on the completion of your Eagle Scout project and the reconstruction of the fencing in the Pioneer Cemetery here in Bardstown.
Thank you. Any words?
Yes. I would like to thank Barbie Bryant for helping me get it already.
That's why you
And I would also like to thank Philip Grubbs for bringing the fencing over, and I would also like to help my troop 721, who's over here in the corner, for helping me with this project, and that was very nice of you. That is all.
Thank you, Mr. Snow.
If y'all get a chance to ride by that, look at that. If y'all get a chance to ride by and look at that, I think it looks nice. Again, thank you, Boy Scouts. Philip Grubbs, which is our maintenance guy, he is really he helps out a lot. He's super.
He really was. Him and Barbie both were a big help in this project.
Thank you.
Number two, we'll go to receive the input from the public. Anyone else would like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Just introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
And your name.
Okay.
Your name, where you're from.
Hi, I'm Molly Bodkin. I'm a freshman at Bardstown High School, and I wrote a letter to Mr. Mayor Royalty that I would like to read to you guys. My name is Molly Bodkin, and I'm a freshman at Bardstown High School. I've been involved in the strings orchestra for 8 years now, and about 2 years ago, the music department decided to take trips involving music. These trips allow us to see music in real life perspectives and have fun as well. These trips are not only to open the high school students' minds up, but these trips are only open to high school students, so the last trip taken I could not attend. This year will be my first trip with the band, orchestra, and choir on April 10th through the 14th. We are headed to Washington, D.C., and we will be going to many museums, monuments, and historical sites. We are even placing a wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier at the Arlington Cemetery. Each student is currently responsible for $591, which covers your events, foods, and sightseeing. I am writing to you to ask for your support with the security and transportation fee. This fee is $9,709. We are fundraising all the time, but could really use some help from you. I understand that the entire amount is way too much to ask for, but we would greatly appreciate $5,000. But honestly, we would appreciate anything you're willing to donate. We perform many times throughout the year for our community with concerts at our school, Parkway Baptist Church, and our community park. We compete in state competitions individually and as a whole group. I encourage you to come and see us at our fall concert or this year's 10-year special anniversary. I know you are a very busy man, so I have attached a copy of our information with our trip details and financial responsibilities with the Taylor Tours organization. I want to thank you for giving me just a few moments out of your very busy day, and the whole music department thanks you more than ever for taking all this into consideration. Have a wonderful day, and again, thank you. Sincerely, Molly Beth. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
No, you don't get to leave yet. Now, you've asked for support and money. I, as mayor, cannot just give that to you. Councilman Liddy, you can just write your check.
What do you say? First National Bank?
Yeah. But as a council, to support anything like this, and I am in support of it, but anything like that will have to come in the vote of the city council.
Okay.
So, you know, that's where it'll have to be, and I will put it on the agenda to see if they would want to support it. Maybe we have to vote on it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mom.
When are you going to do this again?
April 10th through the 14th.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Yeah.
Hi, we are part of a nonprofit organization recently established called Next Gen Nelson County, Inc. And we are requesting permission for our event, the Bardstown Craft Beer Festival. It's our 3rd annual year this year. We are asking for recognition as a civic event.
Yeah.
And we would also request permission to shut down the block in front of the Farmers Market Pavilion, which is, I think, in 2nd Street,
Between second
Yeah.
and third.
between 2nd and 3rd.
Thank you.
Question,
Sir?
Yes.
is this the same thing that they did last year?
Yes, sir.
Same thing, isn't it?
The only thing, Mr. Simpson, is because now they're their own organization. They did it under Main Street before. Now they're under their own organization, so that's why they're coming to us again. Just to show that establishment and to show that they're a civic event.
Because you're a nonprofit, correct?
Yes,
sir. So that's separate from Main Street.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, move on. Tree trimming service bid.
Yes, sir. You have the bid tab, I assume, in the e-form. I'm still old school, I guess, working with paper. We sent the bid out to 5 bidders, Aspen, I'm sorry, 4 bidders, A&G, Aspen, Builders Exchange of Kentucky, the requested one, and Nelson Tree Service. The only bid that we got back was from Aspen. It's up just a little bit over their current rate that they're contracted with us at $93.79. I don't have that exact number on me, what the current rate that we're paying them. But they're the crew that's been working with us for quite some time. Aspen's been with us for several bid seasons. So we're recommending award to Aspen at $92.79 an hour.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Jeff. Would someone monitor those tree trimmers at $93.79 an hour? Would someone from the city or monitor them or check them out every day when they're trimming?
Sure, yeah, we check their progress routinely. Miller's primarily responsible for that technology.
Jeff, do you have any idea why there were no other bids?
You know, A&G trims for Salt River. Nelson is, of course, out of Ohio. They just sort of, they've got crews deployed in certain areas.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on their workload.
Yeah.
I mean, we send it to them, we call, make sure they got it, and it's kind of like the road guys, it seems like, you know, they sort of work territories, I'm not sure.
Mayor, are we aggressively trimming? Like, you know, really, like we talked about before, or?
Yes, our crews have done alleyways, and Larry and I have rode through the alleyways, and when it first started, I wanted to be very aggressive, because I don't want to do this thing every year. And if you spend time to ride through the alleyways,
Henrytown's a good example. Henrytown, the alleyways of Henrytown's a good example.
They are good examples. You can actually ride through those alleyways now. I've taken my truck through it, so it's done well.
Yeah, this is not, I mean, the electric department funds, you know, its needs in the department according to its budget, but this contract is good for whatever department needs them. You know, if cable needs them, somewhere the street department needs them, the tree board, you know, recommend. You know, it's an all-encompassing contract for the city.
Yes, sir, Mr. Simpson.
What's included in that?
I think they've got a 3-person crew, the bucket truck that has the box on it, and a chipper.
Mayor, if I'm in order, I'd like to make a motion. Okay. I move to approve the bid from Aspen to provide tree trimming services for the city and authorize the mayor to sign a 1-year contract.
It's a 3-year contract.
3-year contract. Okay, correct.
It's got, the only escalator in it is CPI, as published in the Wall Street Journal. That's what they put in the bid.
All right, 3-year contract in the amount of $93.79 an hour. And I yield the floor for a second.
Second.
Discussion? We have a motion on the floor to approve the recommendation of Aspen Tree service at $93.79 an hour for this tree service. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's adopted. Thank you, guys. We have HRB, the DRB and Planning and Zoning recommendations. So I'll ask Barbie to read the recommendations from HRB.
COA 15-43, Mark Kane Lighthouse Counseling Center applicant owner proposes to demolish the fire-damaged property at 105 South 5th Street. Recommendation: approval of the demolition of the fire-damaged structures with the conditions that the foundation be removed completely, no trees are to be removed, and that the lot be reseeded after demolition is complete. COA 15-44, Ralph and Judy Buckley, applicant owner, propose to install storm windows and doors at 109 East Broadway Avenue. Recommendation: approval of the installation of the storm doors and windows. COA 15-45 was tabled. COA 15-46, ABC Neon and Sign Company Incorporated applicant and Amy Downs owner, proposes to install signage at 305 North 3rd Street. Recommendation: approval of the new sign face. COA 15-47, Kathy Height, applicant owner, proposes to replace windows and doors at 207 North 5th Street. Recommendation: approval of the installation of the windows as quoted in the estimate provided, with the condition that the door style be submitted for staff approval. COA 15-48, Ben and Libby Spur, applicant owner, proposes to replace concrete walkway at 411 North 3rd Street. Recommendation: approval of the installation of the concrete sidewalk as discussed in herringbone pattern. COA 15-49, the New Life Center, Mike Brooks, applicant owner, proposes to install a signage at 202 East Stephen Foster Avenue. Recommendation: Approval of the installation of the 3 signs with condition that the material type be submitted before installation. COA 15-50, DAC Homes LLC applicant and Charles Gimley, owner, proposed to paint the exterior trim at 117 West Broadway Avenue. Recommendation, approval for painting the exterior trim in Pashmina pale brown. COA 15-51, BCD Incorporated applicant and Patrick Hayden, owner, proposed exterior modifications at 8 Old Bloomfield Pike. Recommendation, approval of the project plan with the conditions that the paint colors be staff approved, the rear cooler be covered in hardy plank and maintained in the same colors as the building, the parking areas be cleaned, and that the shingle for the new gables be the same type as what exists on the structure. COA 15-52, Cox Interior applicant and JTD Holdings owner, proposed to install signage at 209 West Stephen Foster Avenue. Recommendation, approval of the installation of the 2 signs as discussed.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the Bardstown Historic Review Board meeting recommendations CAO 1543, 44, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, and 52.
Second.
Second by Councilman Neal. Okay, discussion? Motion's on the floor to approve the HRB, the COAs 1543, 44, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, and 52. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion's adopted. Thank you. Correspondence, letter request, zombie walk, October the 17th, 2015. I'll entertain a motion.
Discussion?
Gotta have a motion for it first.
Okay.
Well, that being the case, I make the motion to approve the request for the zombie walk on October 17th.
Second.
Second by Councilman Williams. Discussion?
The city's gonna do cleanup in the event. There's a lot of mess. 'Cause my understanding, they had one recently in Louisville, and some of the neighborhoods were complaining about the mess that was left over.
We've had it before. I don't think we've had a mess.
No, it's just a question. I'm not saying that they will, it's just a question.
I think if it is, I think if something like a street sweeper or something like that, but I don't know what mess it would be. But do you know what they were talking about down there?
No, some of the neighbors were complaining about some stuff they had to clean up, and I was just asking a question. So,
In the letter of approval that comes out from the office in regard to this on the council's behalf, it indicates that they are responsible for the cleanup.
okay, that's my question.
We have a motion to approve the zombie walk October 17, 2015. All in favor? Aye. Ms. Copeland has a question.
I just have a question about, it says the White Castle Crate Mobile. Is that,
That's coming up.
okay.
That's the
Okay.
next, oh, that's the next one.
All right.
Yes.
That's coming up under municipal orders. But if you'd like to discuss it, I can bring it up now. It probably would be best if you
Okay.
could. Because their original request was for out on the city street. And because it was not a safe place for not only the zombie walkers, but any other public who would want to come down for the Cray-Mobile, we talked and asked them if they could or consider the City Hall parking lot for its location, so it would keep it off the street and have availability to the public. So that'll come up under municipal order.
We have a motion and a second in the discussion, so the motion's on the floor to approve the zombie walk October 17, 2015. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's adopted. Thank you. Letter of request, the annual beer festival, October 17th, 2015. I'll entertain a motion regarding the annual beer festival.
Mayor, if I'm in order, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the next General Nelson Company Incorporated nonprofit 501(c) organization for them to have this beer event on, I think it's October 17th. Yield the floor for a second.
Gentlemen, may I interject just one thing? It is necessary to also acknowledge the fact that they want to close the street.
That's what we're approving.
Well, it's also to ask if it could be recognized as a civic event. There's two parts of their letter. I just wanted to bring that forward.
You want to close
East Flagey between 2nd and 3rd, but they also need to be recognized as a civic event as well.
Okay, I'll amend my motion
Thanks, sir.
to include recognize them as a civic event and also close East Flagey between 2nd and 3rd.
And Mr. Bowman?
discussion?
What's the significance of being recognized as a civic event?
It goes to their request for a temporary liquor license, which is what they'll need for their beer fest. And part of that is to be recognized as a civic event by the government, the legislative body.
And my question, they would be communicating with the fire department, I assume, by closing the streets, they will have to communicate with the fire department, fire chief.
Who's in charge tonight?
That'd be me, Mayor.
Okay. And you'll make sure that you coordinate with the chief?
Roger, we just need to make sure we can get trucks through there still.
Okay, that's fine. Got that covered for you.
Okay.
Motion on the floor is to approve the annual beer fest for October 17th. Also to recognize them as a, what did you say it was? Civic event, and that also they want to close the East Flagey Street between 2nd and 3rd Street. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Motion's adopted. Thank you. Move on. Letter of request, donation for the Bardstown High. Well, we just had that. Did you guys want to discuss that at all?
Yeah, I think Councilman Williams wants to refuse.
Anybody want to discuss it before we leave?
We can't.
No, I'm talking, nobody said they want to discuss it. Yeah, nobody said they wanted to discuss it, yeah. Anybody want to discuss that? Okay. Chief asked me to come back in.
Don't be.
We missed you was out there so long.
Short discussion.
We'll do number 6, review of the minutes.
Yeah, Mayor, I had a correction. Under financial/occupational license fee, I would make a request that we add the sentence, Councilman Hagan abstained. Just, that's for the record. So I would make a motion, we approve the minutes with that addition. Correction.
Discussion? Have a motion by Councilman Hagan, and second by Councilman Simpson. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's adopted. The minutes are approved. Financial report. I'll ask for permission of the council to proceed to the second reading on the 4 ordinances. And we'll do a second reading on on B 2015-24, the occupational license amendment.
B 2015-24, an ordinance of the City of Bardstown, Kentucky, amending Code of Ordinance Chapter 117 relating to occupational licenses. Be it ordained by the City of Bardstown, Kentucky, that from and after the passage, approval, and publication of this ordinance, that Chapter 117 of the Code of Ordinances relating to occupational licenses be amended as follows. Number 117-03, occupational license tax payment required. Number 1, except as provided in subsection 2 of this section, every person or business entity engaged in any business for profit and any person or business entity that is required to make a filing with the Internal Revenue Service or the Kentucky Revenue Cabinet shall be required to file and pay to the city an occupational license tax for the privilege of engaging in such activities within the city. The occupational license tax shall be measured by 1/2% of all wages and compensation paid or payable in the city for work done or services performed or rendered in the city by every resident and non-resident who is an employee. B, the net profits from business conducted in the city by a resident or non-resident business entity, strike, or 100,000, whichever is less. Number 2, strike. The maximum tax liability under this ordinance shall be assessed as follows. Strike. A, for each employee $500, this maximum shall be applied for each employer on the compensation by each employee, and deductions shall be made only upon the gross amount of compensation which does not exceed $100,000. Strike. B, for each business entity there shall be a $500 minimum liability for the portion of the occupational license tax which is measured by taxable net profits. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect on January 1st, 2016, following publication as required by law. All ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are hereby repealed to the extent of that conflict.
I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept ordinance number B 2015-24. Move the floor to second.
Second.
Second, Councilman Corbin. Discussion?
I have a question. This 0.5%, that's the same as was last year, right?
Yes.
No change.
No, what we're taking off is, what this is in reference to is the occupational cap. It
So
was,
we're moving the cap, there's no effect on it. Okay.
we're moving the cap from 100,000 to, there's no cap.
Right.
Remember years ago, we,
Yes.
I don't know if I was on the council then, but it took it from 15, went to 0.
Okay, so this would be removing the cap only. Okay.
Moving the cap.
Okay.
There's a motion on the floor for the occupational license amendment B 2015-24. All in favor? Oh, that's right. Individual vote, Councilman Simpson?
Aye.
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 Okay, ayes have it. All this motion is adopted. Thank you, Councilman. Number 2 will be B 2015-25 to rezone 2447 H&H Enterprise LLC. Will be the second reading, and Mr. Butler.
Yes, sir.
Is that the long one?
Yes. This is summary of ordinance number B 2015 rezone number 2447 H&H Enterprises LLC, an ordinance amending and adopted as amended in the zoning map entitled zoning map cities of Bardstown, Bloomfield, Fairfield, New Haven, and Nelson County, Kentucky by designating approximately 3.445 acres from R3 multifamily residential district to R1T single-family residential district and approximately 1.099 acres from B3 regional retail business district to R1T single-family residential district. Nelson County Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval based on the findings of fact in the record. The property is described as follows. Point of reference being the point in the southwest right-of-way line of Kentucky Highway 245, a common corner to a tract of land conveyed to Patrick, Michael, and Ruth Ann H. Seward of record in Deed Book 210, page 574, and Deed Book 387, page 440, and a tract of land conveyed to H&H Enterprises LLC of record in Deed Book 505, page 474, in the clerk's office aforesaid. Thence with a common line of said Seward and H&H Enterprises LLC, south 46 degrees 34 minutes 53 seconds west, 190.78 feet, thence north 87 degrees, 20 minutes 17 seconds west, 34.09 feet to the point of beginning. Said point being a common corner to said Seward and H&H Enterprises LLC, thence with the west line of H&H Enterprises LLC, the following two calls: south 04 degrees 20 minutes 10 seconds east, 59.79 feet, then south 37 degrees 21 minutes 28 seconds east, 47.87 feet to the point in the west line of H&H Enterprises LLC, a new corner to another tract of land conveyed to H&H Enterprises LLC of record in deed book 510, page 153 in the clerk's office aforesaid, thence with the new division line across H&H Enterprises LLC, the following 11 calls: 38 degrees 19 minutes 06 seconds west, 151.08 feet, thence with a curve turning to the right with an arc length of 11.57 feet, a radius of 200 feet, a chord bearing of 39 degrees 59 minutes 05 seconds west, and a chord length of 11.56 feet, thence south 83 degrees 03 minutes 51 seconds west, 23.41 feet, then south 06 degrees 56 minutes 09 seconds east, 17.78 feet, thence with a curve turning to the right with an arc length of 37.62 feet, a radius of 200 feet, a chord bearing of south 55 degrees 27 minutes 31 seconds west, and a chord length of 37.56 feet, then south 20 degrees 31 minutes 33 seconds east, 67.70 feet, thence with a curve turning to the right with an arc length of 25.72 feet, a radius of 200 feet, a chord bearing of south 16 degrees 50 minutes 19 seconds east, and a chord length of 25.70 feet, then south 13 degrees, 09 minutes 04 seconds east, 201.7 feet, thence a curve turning to the left with an arc length of 66.38 feet, a radius of 124.70 feet, a chord bearing south 28 degrees 21 minutes 26 seconds east, and a chord length of 65.50 feet, then south 06 degrees 16 minutes 44 seconds west, 83.96 feet, then south 76 degrees 50 minutes 49 seconds west, 145.25 feet to the point in the east line of Miller Springs houses and Miller Springs Estates of record in Plat Cabinet 12, slide 142 in the clerk's office aforesaid, thence with the east line of Miller Springs Estates, north 13 degrees 09 minutes 05 seconds west, 772.14 feet, to a point in the corner of Miller Springs Estates, green space C, and in the south line of said Seward, thence with the south line of Seward, south 85 degrees 31 minutes 42 seconds east, 338.68 feet, to the point of beginning having an area of 3.445 acres, or 150,054.1 square feet, R3 to R1T. Point of reference being the point in the southwest right-of-way line of Kentucky Highway 245, a common corner to a tract of land conveyed to Patrick, Michael, and Ruth Ann H. Seward of record in deed book 210, page 574, deed book 387, page 440, and a tract of land conveyed to H&H Enterprises LLC of record in deed book 505, page 474 in the clerk's office aforesaid, thence with the common line of said Seward and H&H Enterprises LLC, south 46 degrees 34 minutes 53 seconds west, 190.78 feet, thence north 87 degrees 20 minutes 17 seconds west, 34.09 feet to the common corner of said Seward and H&H Enterprises LLC, thence with the west line of said H&H Enterprises LLC, the following two calls: south 04 degrees 20 minutes 10 seconds east, 59.79 feet, then south 37 degrees 21 minutes 28 seconds east, 47.87 feet to the point of beginning, said point being in the west line of said H&H Enterprises LLC, thence continue with the west line of said H&H Enterprises LLC, south 37 degrees 21 minutes 28 seconds east, 78.40 feet to the point in the west line of H&H Enterprises LLC, a new corner to another tract of land conveyed to H&H Enterprises LLC of record in deed book 510, page 153 in the clerk's office aforesaid, thence with a new division line across H&H Enterprises LLC, the following 4 calls. Thence south 42 degrees, 18 minutes, 31 seconds west, 71.46 feet. Thence south 83 degrees, 03 minutes, 51 seconds west, 101.32 feet. Thence with a curve turning to the left with an arc length of 11.57 feet, a radius of 200 feet, a chord bearing of 39 degrees, of north 39 degrees, 59 minutes, 05 seconds east, and a chord length of 11.56 feet. Thence with the north 38 degrees, 19 minutes, 06 seconds east, 151.08 feet to the point of beginning, having an area of 0.196 acres or 8,517.7 square feet, B3 to R1T. Point of reference being a wood post in the southwest right-of-way line of Kentucky Highway 245, a common corner to a tract of land conveyed to Patrick Michael and Ruth Ann H. Seward, of record in deed book 210, page 574, deed book 387, page 440, and a tract of land conveyed to H&H Enterprises LLC, of record in deed book 505, page 474, in the clerk's office aforesaid. Thence, with a common line of Seward at H&H Enterprises LLC, south 46 degrees, 34 minutes, 53 seconds west, 190.78 feet. Thence north 87 degrees, 20 minutes, 17 seconds west, 34.09 feet to a common corner to said Seward and H&H Enterprises LLC. Thence with the west line of said H&H Enterprises LLC, the following 2 calls. South 04 degrees, 20 minutes, 10 seconds east, 59.79 feet. Then south 37 degrees, 21 minutes, 28 seconds east, 47.87 feet to the point in the west line of said H&H Enterprises, thence running across another tract of land conveyed to H&H Enterprises LLC, of record in deed book 510, page 153 in the clerk's office aforesaid, the following 4 calls. South 38 degrees, 19 minutes, 02 seconds west, 151.08 feet. Thence with a curve turning to the right with an arc length of 11.57 feet, a radius of 200 feet, a chord bearing of 39 degrees, 59 minutes, 05 seconds west, and a chord length of 11.56 feet. Thence south 83 degrees, 03 minutes, 51 seconds west, 23.41 feet. Thence south 06 degrees, 56 minutes, 09 seconds east, 17.78 feet to the point of beginning. Said point being a new corner to said H&H Properties LLC. Thence with a new division line across H&H Properties LLC, the following 9 calls. South 06 degrees, 56 minutes, 09 seconds east, 32.22 feet. Thence north 83 degrees, 03 minutes, 51 seconds east, 98.47 feet. Then south 13 degrees, 9 minutes, 11 seconds east, 304.43 feet. Thence south 63 degrees, 23 minutes, 29 seconds west, 104.71 feet. Thence with a curve turning to the right with an arc length of 66.38 feet, a radius of 124.78 feet, a chord bearing of north 28 degrees, 21 minutes, 26 seconds west, and a chord length of 65.60 feet. Thence north 13 degrees, 09 minutes, 04 seconds west, 201.70 feet. Thence with a curve turning to the left with an arc length of 25.72 feet, a radius of 200 feet, a chord bearing of north 16 degrees, 50 minutes, 19 seconds west, and a chord length of 25.70 feet. Thence north 20 degrees, 31 minutes, 33 seconds west, 67.70 feet. Thence with a curve turning to the left with an arc length of 37.62 feet and a radius of 200 feet, a chord bearing of north 55 degrees, 27 minutes, 31 seconds east, and a chord length of 37.56 feet to the point of beginning, having an area of 0.903 acres or 39,323.5 square feet, B3 to R1T. This ordinance or part of ordinances in conflict herewith are repealed to the extent of such conflict. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect following the publication in summary as required by law. This summary was certified by Timothy Butler, City Attorney.
Motion.
2015-25.
Second by Councilman Simpson. Discussion? There's a motion on the floor, no, I'm not going to read that again. There's a motion on the floor for B 2015-25. I'll have to have an individual vote. Councilman Copeland?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion is adopted. Thank you. 2015-26, rezone of 2448 C and J Reynolds LLC. Be a second reading, vote.
An ordinance amending and adopting as amended zoning map entitled Zoning Map Cities of Bardstown, Bloomfield, Fairfield, New Haven, and Nelson County, Kentucky by designating 100-102 Flamingo Road, Bardstown as B3 Planned Unit Development, PUD, for a use serving alcohol by the drink and dance/pool hall, option number 1 and number 2. The Nelson County Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval based on findings of fact in the record. The property is described as follows: being lots 1 and 2, Area B, Phase 1 of Bourbon Downs Estates, as shown on plat recorded in Plat Cabinet 1, Slot 116, and revised plat recorded in Plat Cabinet 1, Slot 125, in the Clerk's Office of the Nelson County Court, containing 0.706 acres. This ordinance or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are repealed to the extent of such conflict. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect following publication in summary as required by law. This summary was certified by Timothy Butler, City Attorney.
Motion?
I move that we approve ordinance number B 2015-25 as read, and I yield the floor for a second.
It's 26.
26, I apologize. 25, excuse me, 2015-25.
26.
I'm 26.
You write that 100 times and turn it into
And I yield the floor for a second.
I second it.
motion. Discussion?
My own question, they downgraded it, or there will be no business there from, well, I understand, right? It went from B3 to residential.
This is strictly for a PUD.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
Do we have discussion? Motion's on the floor to approve the B 2015-26, and I'll ask for an individual vote. Councilman Simpson, I'll start with you.
Aye.
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 Motion's adopted. Ayes have it. Thank you. Let's go to number 4, B 2015-27, the planning and zoning recommendation amendments, and the second reading on that part.
Ordinance number B 2015-27, an ordinance of the City of Bardstown amending Article 3 Administration, Article 4 Boards of Adjustment, Article 5 Definitions, Article 6 Zoning Districts, Article 9 General Zoning District Regulations, Article 13 Amendment Procedures, and Article 17 Fee Schedule of the zoning regulations for Bardstown, Bloomfield, Fairfield, New Haven, and Nelson County, Kentucky. The Bardstown City Council conducted a review of the records and evidence presented by the Joint City-County Planning Commission of Nelson County, Kentucky, and recommended that the submitted amendments be approved as corrected. Zoning regulation amendments. Amend Section 3.2B to add an exception for temporary structures from zoning compliance permits. Strike. Change current Section 3.3J to 3.3K and add new Section 3.3J to require an as-built footer survey for professional office, commercial, and industrial structures and any structure requiring a variance. Amend Sections 4.3B and 4.3C to incorporate KRS 100 language for variances and conditional use permits. Amend Article 5 to add definitions for accessory dwelling, agricultural enterprise, microbrewery, craft distillery, distilled spirits, double-wide manufactured homes, single-wide manufactured homes, event facility, temporary structure, and value-added agricultural products. Amend Article 5 to amend definitions for agricultural operation, mobile home, modular home, manufactured or mobile home community, recreational vehicle community, roadside stand, and underskirting. Amend Article 5 to add definition of accessory dwelling and clarify the size of delineating maximum 1,000 square feet of living area and 1,500 square feet total gross floor area. Amend Article 5 to add definitions of microbrewery and craft distillery. Amend Article 5 to delete definition for mobile home park. Amend Section 6.1A to add distilled spirit storage as a permitted principal use and/or amend Section 6.1C to add distilled spirit storage as a conditional use. Amend Section 6.1C to allow an event facility as a conditional use. Amend Section 6.1C1 to change conditional use for roadside stand to conditional use for agricultural enterprise. Delete Section 6.1C7 to eliminate conditional use for principal or accessory manufactured home, mobile home, on lots 1 acre or more in size. Amend 6.1A to allow single-wide manufactured home on lot 1 acre or more in size as a permitted principal use. And amend 6.1B to allow an accessory single-wide manufactured home on lot 1 acre or more in size as a permitted accessory use. Delete Section 6.1C12 to eliminate CUP for residential lot under minimum lot size and amend Section 6.1E to allow special exception to minimum lot size. Delete Section 6.1C14 to eliminate the requirement for a CUP and amend Section 6.1B to allow accessory dwelling on 2+ acres as a permitted accessory use, thereby eliminating the requirement for a CUP. Amend Section 6.12C4, 6.13C4, 6.14C3, 6.15C3, and 6.16C3 to allow microbrewery and craft distillery as conditional use in B2, B3, B4, B5, and LIP. Amend Section 6.17A and 6.18A to allow microbrewery and craft distillery as permitted uses in I1 and I1M. Amend Section 6.17A and 6.18A to add research and development facilities, corporate headquarters, regional headquarters, and administrative offices as permitted principal use. Amend Section 9.4 to revise location and height requirements for agricultural, accessory, and temporary structures. Amend Section 9.10B to revise height exceptions. Delete Section 9.10C to eliminate duplicate zoning compliance permit exceptions. Amend Article 13 to assure compliance with zoning regulations, text amendment process in KRS 100, and to provide for an alternative zone change process. Article 17, fee schedule. Eliminate $50 conditional use permit annual fee, review fee, reduce planning commission, special meeting fee from $2,000 to $1,000. Delete City of Bardstown sign permit and related fee. Delete certificate of appropriateness fee schedule. Delete historic district design standard manual copy fee. The full text of Ordinance B 2015-27 is available for examination in the office of the City Clerk, 220 North 5th Street, Bardstown, Kentucky, 4004 during regular business hours. This summary was certified by Timothy Butler, City Attorney.
Motion?
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance B 2015-27, proposed zoning amendment as read, and I yield the floor for a second.
Second.
First and second discussion. Motion is on the floor to approve B 2015-27, the planning and zoning regulation amendments. All in favor? No one going to have an individual vote. Ms. Copeland?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion is adopted. Thank you, guys. We'll go to number 7, Number 8, the ordinances. First reading of B 2015, the solid waste amendments. Bill, if you would introduce that.
Mayor, I would like to introduce proposed ordinance B 2015 solid waste management amendments and ask for a summary be read.
Summary of Ordinance B 2015 Solid Waste Management Amendments. This ordinance amends Chapter 51, Solid Waste Management as follows. Section 51-01 Definitions, to amend and clarify the definition of construction and demolition waste. Section 51.02D, to clarify and specify responsibilities on dumpster and dumpster corral placement and maintenance. Section 51.02E, to clarify procedures and limitations on curbside collection of yard waste. Section 51.03A, to specify procedures for leaf and recyclable cardboard collection. Section 51.03D, to specify and clarify procedures and limitations for tree limb and bulky item pickup, and to include all bulky item loads, 1 standard pickup sized load or 4 cubic yards, are subject to a minimum fee of $15. Loads in excess of 1 standard pickup size or 4 cubic yards will incur an additional charge at the rate of $15 per pickup load. The initial fee and/or additional fees will be added to the next month billing cycle. Section 51.03F, to provide for temporary suspension of solid waste collection during inclement weather. Section 51.03J, to amend and specify the list of items prohibited and excluded from collection by the city and to advise as to their proper disposal. Section 51.03K, to clarify procedures for permissible disposal of excessive waste material and items. Section 51.04A, to allow city approval of waste processing facilities or disposal areas. Section 51.08D, to amend prohibited practices to clarify prohibitions on burning garbage and limitations on burning brush and debris. And Section 51.99 penalties, to allow for civil penalties and fines in the amount of no less than 100 nor more than 200 for the first offense, no less than 150 nor more than 250 for the second offense, and no less than 200 nor more than 300 for any subsequent offense. I certify that this summary was prepared by Timothy Butler, City Attorney.
Council have any comments about this at all?
I'd just like to get some background. I mean, I guess I understand it, but I assume this has been in the works for a while. But somebody just walk us through the problem we're trying to solve.
The problem with what's been going on is you have landlords that get people that move out and then and they set them out and they set all their belongings out on the side of the street, or if they just leave.
Yeah.
I've never felt that that is the responsibility of the city to pick that up. That is the responsibility of the landlord. And we've been getting a lot of that lately from apartment complexes and that kind of thing. And my approach is, if I do that, then I take it off myself. We've got this big double knuckle truck to pick this stuff up, and that's what we're having problems with. It's the amount of stuff that people are leaving, and it's been just used extensively.
So for the bulky item pickup, it's $15 for the first time.
Call in, set up the special order. I would also add that some of them are trying to reduce our workers' comp claim for strains and things. That we have a pretty sizable workers' comp in the garbage department. So that was part of the reasoning behind this. So we then bought this fairly expensive used truck here some time back.
And then the same for the branches. The person has to call now, whoever read this, to get the branches picked up. The truck's not going to go around automatically.
It will go around, but by calling, it gives us some idea of how to dispatch. But there really no charge for that.
There's no charge for that.
And the other problem, like on the tree branches is that we're having, you may want to hire, Bill Butler to come out here and trim all your trees, and you're paying him. And it's his responsibility to haul those over and not for the city to come out.
Yeah, I know we've had a lot of trouble with that.
We've had a tremendous amount. And, I think it's been abused for a long, long time, and I think it needs to be curbed.
But it's not gonna affect the lady that put out a mattress once every 10 years.
On a bulky item, I don't think it will. We've got,
$15.
We gonna charge them $15? Yeah, a lot of times I don't agree with that.
Again, we bought this truck, and our workers' comp claims were in the sky, way up in the clouds, and we just have to stop the workers' comp claims or try to curb that. There's no other way to do it.
Well, I just wonder about, to Bobby's point, if a person, and the homeowner has one bulky item of pickup a year, or every 2 years, or every 10 years. And we have historically provided that service. We are providing that service now. I wonder if there could be a compromise there of allowing, or would that be too administratively difficult to keep track of allowing each household one bulky pickup item a year? Is that too hard to keep track of? Larry?
I don't know how you would even keep track of it.
You don't know what's going to put out in front of your neighbor. That's the.
Is what now?
It's like if you're just trying to pick up something, and if you're not calling in or even calling in, if you're not having any fee, if you're just always doing it. We were getting to the point where we're picking up a lot of things, and the original garbage fee, I think, was kind of starting, along with the workers' comp, was no longer covering all of our expenses for that. But to the point, I'm afraid if we don't charge anything, it's hard to pick and choose and then say, well, this is my first time, or my daughter set that out, and it gets to be a little bit hard administratively to track all of that. And maybe they put it out in front of their neighbor because I had something last month, and now I'm going to put it out in front of him. It just gets kind of hard to track each individual. Not that maybe we couldn't, but with what we have now, I think that would be kind of difficult to keep up with.
If you take a pickup load, it's anything up to a pickup load.
Right.
So if you put out a pickup load, if you wait, let's say 1 time a year to put out your bulky items, and it doesn't amount to more, and mom doesn't have a pickup, then you can put that out. And $15 isn't going to.
Well, not to get too deep in the weeds, but if I put a washing machine out that's less than a pickup truck, is that a bulky item?
It used to be we wouldn't pick it up because of its weight, but now that we have this, we would pick it up.
So that would not be a bulky item?
If it's a normal household appliance.
Just as it's described?
It'd be gone in 5 minutes anyway.
Well, that's true. Especially if you put $100 in it.
Yeah, that's much too.
Okay, I understand.
Well, now, I agree. I agree that we've got a problem with a lot of people abusing it. But I think we're abusing the little old lady up there that has one mattress every 20 years. I don't think we ought to charge them.
But how do you say she doesn't do it? For example, this guy that I know that I've been watching, is that he goes around and collects all the stuff that thinks he's gonna resell it and does it, and then he sits it at his house, and then every couple of weeks he piles it in front of his house because he can't get rid of it, and now we gotta take it off every couple of weeks.
There ought to be a way that we can, you've been watching that one. The people that pick this up know the ones that are the problem. We know the ones that are the problem, and that's the one that ought to be paying for it.
But you can't pick and choose who you service, and $15 is a minimum amount. If you figure $7 for, the landfill, your time and gas and so forth, $15 is a cheap price to get rid of a mattress or something you don't have to do it yourself.
Plus, the other thing that's clarified is, or changes, is if you put out a washing machine today, it's a bulky item. It's a bulky item pickup. If you put out a washing machine after you pick this up, it's going to be picked up in just normally. So to Bobby's point, this little old lady can put some, she can't put a mattress out because it's bigger than a pickup truck. She can put a washing machine out, or she can, stuff like that, and it'll get picked up, whereas before it wouldn't. So I'm thinking the net is I think the homeowner's gonna be better off.
No, I
Because
think,
he'll be able to put more stuff out.
no, I think the washer is a bulky item to pick
I
up.
just asked that question. Why is it? It's smaller than a pickup truck. It's smaller than 4 cubic yards.
It's up to
It's up to
them.
Because there's still the hauling fee. You still have to take it to the landfill. It still takes the guy with the truck to pick up the washing machine and put it on the truck. It's not going in the garbage truck. It's a separate vehicle, I guess is what.
If it's a normal household item and small enough, you can put it in a garbage can. If it's bulky enough not to fit in your garbage can.
Like a microwave. That would go in the garbage can, it would be crushed.
You can't put anything that would hurt the cycling of the garbage truck. But it's meant to say, whether it doesn't quite say, it's up to 4 cubic yards, so a mattress is bigger. It extends out from the bed of the truck, but you would measure the area. So that's why 4 cubic yards is quoted. So as to when we get down to measuring, if it's more than a pickup load, then we'll start measuring, and maybe it could be the equivalent of 2. Anything more than 4 cubic yards or a pickup load would kick in the second $15.
Okay, how does something go from being regular garbage to a bulky item? What's
It
the
doesn't fit in the
definition?
can. If it can't go in the compactor, and it won't fit in the can, it becomes a.
Special handle.
Special handle with a different truck, a different stuff guys.
Is that described in your, does that say that in your, I don't remember seeing it.
I think it tries to say that by saying if it can't go in your normal waste.
Okay. I'll read it more carefully when we talk about it.
Yeah.
Next week.
And then, you know, the other thing is like the washer or dryer that's sitting out there. You know, one man can't load it, it takes 2 guys. But you have this truck operated by one man.
I understand, man.
You have any other questions?
Well, I think that, and that's why we bought the truck for the injuries and everything we had. But I still think we need to look at a way that it can take care of the problem that we've got out there. And the ones that are not causing the problem. There ought to be a way that we word it or police it, whatever. I'll give you an example. My dumpster up there, I'm lucky if I don't have a couple of mattresses out there stacked by it every week. Now, what we're gonna do about that?
If it's not in the dumpster, we're gonna charge it.
That's what I'm worried about.
Because it costs to provide that service. There is a cost associated with providing that service. So we're just trying to cover our costs, which maybe we've not been able to do very well in the past. And to try to keep our employees safe and keep them from getting injured. Ultimately, I think we've provided a lot of service without necessarily incorporating the costs associated with that service in the past. And now we spent a lot of time evaluating what we've spent, what it's costing us, and what it's costing our employees from the workers' comp problem. And we're trying to resolve it in a fair way so that if you don't use the service, you don't have to pay the extra $15. You still get for your garbage rate, your leaf and limb pickup. We come around the fall and pick up your leaves. We'll still do the limbs. We still do provide a lot of good services under your garbage rate. But if you're going to need something, because it is $7 to take something to yourself to the landfill. So we're just trying to help cover a little bit extra to help fund safely and do a better job of picking up stuff, to keep the town clean.
I believe it's in the tens of thousands of dollars that the garbage department has paid in workers' compensation. So we've gone to the front loading truck, trying to reduce the number of dumpsters. We've gone to this front loading dumpster to have no employees rolling and hurting themselves with these dumpsters and or lifting things. So that's the spirit it was given. It wasn't so much the fee. The fee is what the city of Owensboro charges for the same service. So for where we got the inspiration for the fee.
And it might not be, I would maybe also maybe entertain though, give another thought of doing like the county does, offer a one-time year bulk yard and pick up. And then the people that need to throw out that one mattress, throws that one mattress out. Should just sleep on it till that day.
That would be a fair compromise, I believe, Mayor.
And, you know, we can do that, you know, and maybe do that.
Mayor, can we table it to the point of revising those words and try to make it clear so that it would be, reflect what you all want?
Yeah, it's just, you know, and that'd be with you all's blessing if you think it's a good idea to offer a one-time bulk yard and pickup, but.
I'd like to think about it.
Yeah. One thing to keep in mind, if that's something that you would like to consider, if you're doing one time a year, that would be very difficult to actually pick it up one time a year. And the length of time a lot of those items would sit there in your downtown and city community. That is the downfall. The county does do one time a year, but sometimes it might sit there for a month and a half. And we have a much denser population, and if we were trying to only have our employees the opportunity to pick it up one time a year, that may not be the effect you're trying to get. But it's something we could try to figure out a way, employee-wise and equipment-wise, to make that work and still be aesthetically pleasing to the community.
Maybe cut the city up into sections like the county does, and do it that way.
Well, one alternative might be also for the way the county does is to provide a voucher.
Right.
A voucher for one $15 pickup that goes out. They provide you one pass to the landfill every year in one of the electric bills. So
We're
you might
going to do
want
the
to
billing every month and add it on your bill. It would be, we'll just have to keep the database for a year and give them one credit.
That'd be easier.
That's doable.
Okay. All right, so we'll continue to look at that and you get a chance to shoot an email to one of us with your thoughts and your input on it. We'll keep going forward with it. Let's see, where we're at number 2. B, 2015, the classification and compensation plan of the fire department, and this is the introduction for the first reading.
I don't have one, sir.
Don't have anything?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Let's move on. I think we're still studying that, right, Larry? Okay. B, 2015, the occupational license amendment. Fred?
Yeah, I put that on the agenda. Just like to talk about that a little bit. We've passed the ordinance where we've taken the cap off, which I guess we have that done. But I still think we need to look at the actual rate. I mean, personally, if we don't do anything, as we discussed many times, at the end of this fiscal year, we're going to have a general fund of about $200,000 or less, and historically that's been in the $500,000 to $900,000 range. I just think we'd be irresponsible if we let that drop down to that amount. So I still think we need to do something on the rate, and I still think 0.6% is a fair compromise, and I would like for us to all of us have an opinion on that. I mean, if we're going to do this, we need to do it at least by the end of October. So we have about this meeting and 2 more meetings to do something. So this issue has not gone away. We still need to do something. So that's why I asked for this to be on the agenda. I'd like to have a first reading, but I don't have a first reading if it's not going to go into place. So I'd like to hear from everyone and get their opinion.
I give them my big floor. I disagree. I think we should wait. We took the cap off. I don't know what you big hurry. And we really don't need the revenue at the present time. And we have many families struggling, Fred. If you go around the community and mingle with people, we got families struggling. That percent may not look too much to you, but them $2 means a lot to a family struggling here in Bardstown. I don't think we should even think about no more tax at the present time. We should analyze, evaluate, and just see what this cap will bring in.
Taking the cap off won't affect this fiscal budget.
Well, let's wait and see. What's your big area? We do not need revenue at the present time. I don't know what your big area is. Your big area will raise taxes.
In my opinion, I don't think we need to go percentage at a time, 0.6. I think we need to go 0.50. Do it once, get it over with, be done with it, because it's gonna take a whole year to come into effect, and if we don't pass it this year, it's gonna be another year before it comes into effect. We'll be, that's right, at the end of our tenure. It's just like we're passing the buck, like all the past administrations. It needs to be done, we need to do it. Get it
So
done.
you're not in agreement with the .06 is?
No.
You want a .75?
Now, let's do it one time and do it right and be done with it.
So you want to go from .05 to
0.50 is minimum, I would go 0.75, I'm still back.
No, we're at .50 now, you want to go to .75.
0.75. Let's do it once and get it over.
Councilman Simpson, you have an opinion?
Yeah, I've got an opinion. But, I think that we've done past the taking the cap off. I agree with Francis as far as let's see what the cap coming off does bring in. Fred, as far as, yeah, that's, we may have to readdress it next year. But for right now, we've got the budget covered. Yes, we're looking at other things that, in my opinion, would be in next year's budget. Some of them, we've even talked about jumping the street $1 million. Well, I don't know what the numbers are going to be next year. We're doing good to take care of this year. So I'm agree with Frank.
Councilman Copeland?
I'm going to agree with Francis as well. As I stated before, that I thought that we should take the cap off and then reassess when we know where we stand. So.
Councilman Williams?
I was at the .25, but at the time I was of the opinion that we needed that for the fire department, but we don't apparently need it right now. So I'll just wait and see what the taking the cap off does.
With that, I'm done.
Okay.
I just want us all to remember, at the end of this fiscal year, when our general fund is almost zero, what we just did.
All right, so that is over. That will be brought back up. That is dead. Okay. Let's move on. Let's go to reports for staff and committees, I guess, and the Transportation Planning Committee. They met on 9/14/2015. Ms. Copeland, you have the floor.
Okay. Let's see. We discussed or had potential or possible Southwest bypass, talked about the years and design study. Councilman Lydian made a recommendation to prioritize a project to the mayor to write a letter. And David Hayden brought up the congestion of Templin Avenue, possibly with the new school building. We also discussed widening of 245. And I want to thank David Hayden because he helped with the agenda. So a lot of this David Hayden brought up. But he stated that the work will be complete at the end of October for the Highway 245 project. Jan Johnston suggested, in conjunction with that the connections to the community parks and look for grants to support, and she's talking about the bike and walking paths. And there was a high priority for the Bluegrass Parkway and 150 interchange. David Hayden made a recommendation to present to our legislators to present as the #1 priority in the upcoming budget session for the major project for Nelson County. And Larry, do you want to add anything, or Francis, do you want to add anything?
Larry?
I think you covered it pretty well.
Each had a question regarding this Parkway Drive, Philietro Lane, talking to David Floyd and Jimmy Higdon. Does anybody have any idea, is that going to get any legs? Does that?
What was it?
The,
That's the last thing on the agenda.
Parkway Drive and Philietro Lane connectors, is that correct?
Yes.
No, it's not, we're not gonna do anything. I had a meeting with, Jimmy Higdon and Dean Watts, and there's a lot of projects that are out there, and we've kind of narrowed it down to 3, which we want to continue to do from 49 out to 150. Then we still have the 150 build from the Bluegrass Parkway out to almost to the curve where the junkyard is. And I don't, that interchange, the western interchange that goes around, is not going to be on the high priority list. So we have to kind of narrow that priority down, because we don't want to put 6 different projects out there and get a little bit on each one and nothing gets done. So you have the 31E project that is coming through right now on in Bullock County through there on the 31E. So
The recommendation indicated by chairperson. So you would carry out the recommendation recommended from the planning committee, some recommendation to the mayor.
We'll carry it to, you know, you can't go up there with a wish list of 6 or 7 big projects, because I don't think none of those will be filled in the state's priority. The way I understand it right now is from 49 to Walmart, and then from the Bluegrass Parkway and that expansion out to there. That right there is a priority. Then you have the 31E expansion is a priority, and we have to get those done. So that right now is what they want to focus on.
Is there any mention of the clover leaf out there at 31E or 150 and Bluegrass, revising it? Do
That's
something
the
with
number
that?
one project.
That's the number 1 project.
Oh, okay.
That's the
All right.
project that goes from Bluegrass Parkway to the junkyard. That's the next.
And they'll change that off ramp and all that, so they can, okay, that's good.
And we've been very fortunate to, according to Senator Higdon, we've been very fortunate to get what we've got. Nelson County in general has been very fortunate to get everything they've got.
The mention of Philietro Drive and or Parkway is, it's like, it used to be, the old Bloomfield Road was, until we annexed it, had a state highway number. We might get some help from the fiscal court, although I wouldn't hold my breath, that they could maybe put these roads on the rural secondary system. That's the point of that. They're maintenance dollars. They're not new roads. They're maintenance projects. And so they've done it in other places. They used to get dollars from us on connector roads like Gilkey Run Road, Dimmery Drive, where they would cut through and they would assist us in paving. It has happened. It could happen. I'm not holding my breath. Got it. That's what I want to get out of it. So,
I think that connector loop, the west from 245 over to Boston, I think, it's been.
that's just a scope study to give us an idea where that road will go so people can plan for that. We know it's not going to get funded. It's not in the 6-year plan, but the scoping study was in this year's funding in the 6-year plan. So we'd like to see that done so people know where the road would go, where it ought to go, from Thomas Nelson over to 62 and then on to around to 31 East South.
So scoping study is first, so that's where that's at, but it's not on the high priority list. With the state, It might be with us or the county, it might be, we would like to see it, but it's not with the state, it's not a high priority. They hold the purse strings, so.
Chairperson Copeland, the next meeting, we're gonna invite, Senator David Floyd and Higgins, and hope that we can get some support from the two representatives to push some of our priorities, I think, at our next meeting.
I think they're pushing very well. We, if you look and look at what other counties have gotten compared to Nelson County, I think they've done an excellent job. They've pushed very well, and we've been very fortunate.
Well, we just got to continue to push on Bardstown and starting our city.
Okay, let's move on. Parking spaces for City Hall. Larry, if you want to do that.
Yeah, I believe Barbie's got a picture in your computers of a sketch that I'm drafted, and it just would take the parking lot in front of City Hall up another approximately 70 feet. And we're hoping that maybe some of the city employees and the fire department maybe could park out there and loosen up. We're full in the back. We're, with this new crew of men we got working, we're having a hard time finding parking places. So anyhow, this would, we could do it. The mayor asked me to get for you this time a budget. I think we'd spend somewhere around $15,000 on materials, and otherwise we can accomplish that curb. You just picture the lot you have and just extend it by about a third, going on the way it is, and it's just a similar construction with the curb, roll curb surrounding, and another set of steps going up to the building.
Larry and I have been watching this for the last 6 months, I guess, and it's really gotten, it's got to the point that we don't have enough customer parking in the back because of employees, you know. As I said, we got the fire department there, and so this work's going to be done in-house, correct?
Well, yes,
But for what we can.
Yes.
We would do it with our own people, and I'm guessing it'd take us, maybe 3 men, a month and a half, but squeezed. It wouldn't take, it'll take, the project time won't be that long, and there may be more people working at any one time, but you'll spend another $15,000 of people's time probably doing it.
We need a motion on that to carry that out there.
Just let information and to get your, I guess, to get your blessing and be transparent, let you know what I like.
That's needed.
I do have a question. Excuse my ignorance, but diagonal parking as opposed to what you're proposing, would that make a difference? Is it park diagonally in there with less spaces, or?
Wouldn't help at all.
Wouldn't help at all.
You still have to have 9 foot in between white lines to create or to have that parking space.
You don't have enough depth. If you were going to have, instead of 2 rows, 4 rows, then you would maybe, it might help you. But straight-in parking is the most economical, and the only reason diagonals are used is to conserve space and compact the parking tighter and have you closer to the door, if you will. So this was started that way, and I guess all I'm saying is it probably ought to continue.
I think Ben and his guys, they rebuilt 2nd Street. Yeah, we got, I agree there. We have the talent. They rebuilt 2nd Street, and these guys can do this, and like I said, it'll be done in-house. Save us money, Bobby. Yeah, you're gonna need it. So yes. So do you feel comfortable in going ahead with this?
Needed.
Very good. All right, thank you. The next one would be the House Bill 119, a training incentive program. Ms. Copeland, you are up again.
Okay, thank you. I would like to introduce the House Bill 119, training of city officials. Hopefully you were able to review the material that was sent to the iPad. Thank you, Barbie. It allows the city to adopt an ordinance establishing an incentive program for city officers to obtain educational training related to the duties and responsibilities of city officers and functions of city governments. This also is extended to non-elected city officials as well. So anyone that is able to take the Kentucky League of Cities training would be able to be part of this incentive program. What it does, you establish base training incentive payment amounts. You require city officers to complete training in calendar year, because right now they have a calendar that's out. When we went to training, many of us were new. We went to a training and they were talking about training incentive program. I didn't know what it was. I kept reading this and I'm like, well, why doesn't our city have it? It's something that was passed, so it is something that is good, and all of us can use it. It's educational, it deals with our jobs, and I think education is part of the key to doing your job. It requires payments to be made to city officers during a calendar year per completion of a training unit. So as a council, we would vote, you know, to what the criteria is going to be in reference to the payment amount, because it's only from $100 to $500. You have to at least get 15 credits throughout that year to qualify for it. So it's not something that you're going to absolutely guarantee that you're going to get, because you have to do the training. And there's an ordinance already preset, so it's not that we would have to write up something that's already formatted for us. So I just want to bring this to your attention. Kentucky League of Cities is here for us. They're continuously working to make our jobs easier. So I just want you to think about this. It's for us. It helps everyone, city clerks, the mayor, the administrators, the engineers. So I really would like for you to think about this and discuss it, you know. It's something that's there for us.
Keisha, how long has this been, when was this passed?
I'm not for sure.
2011.
2011. 2011.
Okay. So it's,
So what you're saying, if a council member goes to HR class at Lexington, then of course the city automatically pays for that. But what you're saying is about this, the council member would be paid additionally by the city just to attend that meeting. Is that what this does?
No. There's a calculation in here. It's under the how much can city officials earn and where do the resources come from. So they have a calculation in there. There's an example. I don't know if you guys want me to read it or not.
Well, with that though, I guess the way I read it is that you use that calculation, but the city would pay that extra money to the council member for going to these classes. Is that correct?
But upon completion of the credit hours at the end of the year, at
Right.
the end of the calendar year.
Right. If you complete the credit, the 15 credits or whatever, because each one of those, because I know I've been to several, you get like 3 credits and for this one and that one. So after you get completed with 15 credits, then the city would pay you extra money for going to these classes.
The Kentucky League of Cities keeps up with the hours. At the end of the year, I believe they would send a sheet down to Tracy and say, hey, these officials got the requirement for their hours. The following year, they'll receive an incentive pay for that earning, you know, getting their education or what have you. This is nothing that, you know, there are many cities that do this. I'm not asking us to agree on something that only we do. I mean, throughout the state of the 120 counties, there are many cities that do this. And that's why the House Bill 119 was created. Because a lot of people may go throughout their term. We're 2 years, you're 4 years. and may not even go to a Kentucky League of City tournament. You won't do it. But this gives you an incentive. Not only are you going to learn about your job and other jobs and the city government business, but then if you meet those requirements at the end of the year, you could get an incentive. So, I mean, you can think about it, but.
Tracy, on this, since it's an ordinance, will it, and then that's done after you get to 15 credit hours, when you do a budget, will that have to be a new line item?
It would probably go under education expense for each department. I mean, we already have an education expense, but we'll have to budget for the additional.
So you'd have, so it couldn't be this year, you'd have to do it in
Well,
the new budget?
It would be in next year's budget because I understand it, you won't get paid until December of 2016.
Right, so it'd be in next year's budget. So
KLC suggests that a line item is provided in your budget for this.
Separate from the education expense.
So that'd be a new line item?
It's to cover incentive payments and training expenses for each participating city official.
It would not be no new line item because we already have them in the budget for education, right? You just add another amount to it, right?
Well, Kentucky League of Cities suggested put a new line, put a separate line item.
Separate line item.
So what I'm saying, if you do that, you're, you know, in the new budget, I'd like to see a new line item for it, where you can actually track it, but then you're gonna have to, when you do the budget, you're gonna have to budget for that.
Sure.
Will there be limitations on the amount of class and so forth? It says the expenses, you know, like I'm going up to election next week, you got meals and stuff, you know, I pay my own way, but if you go for a 2-day class in somewhere else, Owensboro, you're gonna pay motels and meals and transportation and all for it. Is the city gonna absorb that also in the budget?
No, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's related to what you indicated.
This is training incentives. So this is about.
There's expenses that go along with it when you go to these classes.
The city has a choice. They can either continue doing what they're doing right now, paying the expense to go up there and do your training, to stay in the hotel, okay? But the incentive is that you take these hours, you're gonna take these courses, they're approved by Kentucky League of City, and at the end of the year, they're gonna be tallied. And at that following year, you're gonna get a payment, an incentive for doing it. And it's like a corporation. Some people may have worked for a corporate office. You get an incentive. You know, if you take college courses, if you go get your master's degree, if you go get your PhD, there is an incentive, there's a bonus. And all Kentucky League of City is doing is monitoring this program. It was approved, it's a House Bill 119. So if you're able to go through this and read it, it explains it really thoroughly. But it's nothing that's gonna harm us. If anything, it's going to encourage people to not just sit here and come to the meeting, but to get involved with more training so that they can bring more to the meeting.
But there's also webinars. You can do
Yes,
on your computer.
there's webinars, which wouldn't cost you anything to go and stay. That's what I'm saying.
That was the question I was going to ask, or I was going to mention. I know that you can do some distance learning.
Online courses as well.
Like with graduate and other programs now, but to Keisha's point, my interpretation of this is it's professional development.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
Is there a limit on what you can earn in 1 year?
Yeah.
What is it, 500 or something?
Yes, what we vote for is from 100 to 500.
So we'd have to, you know, if you all want to do that, you'd have to vote on, after you get this 15 credits, do you get $100 or do you get $500? So you would have to vote on your own incentive pay for completing the 15 credit hours. So, you see what I'm saying? So you have that range between 100 and 500. You can vote if you want to be paid $500 for that 15 credit hour completion, then you can vote that in, or you can pay just $100. Well, the incentive pay is up to you as a council.
Yeah, I like the idea, and I have to apologize. When I saw this, I just read this first page. I didn't realize this was all. I was getting ready to ask you for this ordinance, and so I need to take time to read it. But on its face, I like the idea.
I I think it sounds good also, because
That's gonna take time to study a little bit more.
we all.
Can we bring this back up?
So we're not gonna vote on it tonight.
Right, I just want to get y'all's idea, if you want to bring it back up, that you all read it.
Right.
If you have any extra questions, contact Councilman Copeland, and she appears to be very well rehearsed and passionate about it, so ask her about it.
Thank
Okay. Any other council member? You got anybody else? Staff? Anything? Larry? Jessica? Tracy?
Tax bills are going up to 29.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Tax bills?
Property tax bills are going up to 29.
I didn't even know that. Okay. Jeff? Chief?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Mike? Mike?
No, sir.
Larry? Anyone else? All right. Any unfinished business?
No, sir.
None? Good. New business, Bobby, if you'll read all prior to the votes.
All right. No, just each and every one. Resolution R 2015-07, a resolution authorizing the mayor of Bardstown to proclaim the date of September 25th, 2015 as Father William D. Hammer Day. Whereas Father William D. Hammer has been a priest for 35 years, of those 10 years as pastor of the Basilica of St. Joseph Proto-Cathedral and St. Michael Catholic Church. And whereas Father William D. Hammer is a dedicated pastor, valued colleague, and role model for parish and community involvement, and whereas Father William D. Hammer was instrumental in establishing the Time to Build capital campaign, it was through this successful campaign that the school and parish facilities were given significant upgrades. And whereas Father William D. Hammer has generously given of his time to the St. Joseph Montessori School, the Catholic Education Foundation, the St. Joseph Parish Council, the Flagey Hospital Board, the Priest Council, and to the Bethlehem High and St. Joseph School Boards meetings and PTO meetings. And whereas Father William D. Hammer has been reassigned to St. Margaret Mary Catholic Church in Louisville, where he will provide his persevering commitment to servant leadership as taught by Jesus to his disciples. Now therefore be it proclaimed throughout the city of Bardstown that Friday, September 25th, 2015 be observed as Father William D. Hammer Day.
Mayor, I consider it an honor to make a motion that we approve resolution R 2015-07 proclaiming Father William D. Hammer Day.
Second. Second by Councilman Liddy. Any discussion? Motion's on the floor to resolution R 2015-07, the Father Bill Hammer proclamation. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye, and motion is adopted. Municipal order M 2015-21, use of city parking lot for White Castle truck.
Right. A municipal order authorizing the parking lot of Bardstown City Hall located at 220 North 5th Street to be declared as a public place for the purpose and location of mobile food vending activities per ordinance B 2014-03. The Bardstown City Council determined this location to be suitable from the standpoint of the health and safety of the public and proper from the standpoint of site characteristics as a location in which mobile food vending activities may be allowed. On October 17, 2015, from 6 to 10 p.m., the parking lot of Bardstown City Hall will be allowed to house the mobile food vendor known as White Castle's Crave Mobile.
Entertain a motion. Councilman Simpson. Second by Councilman Williams. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. That motion's adopted. Thank you. The municipal order 2015-22, personnel policies, overtime, and booze allowance.
Municipal order amending the personnel policies and procedures established in municipal order number 91-8 and amended in full in municipal order number 2007 and amended in municipal order numbers 2003-16, 2004-4, 2007-8, 2008-8, 2009-7, 2009-15, 2011-03, 2013-03, 2013-17, and M 2014-11. Now, therefore be it ordered by the City of Bardstown, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that the personnel policies and procedures, Section 5, compensation plan, C, overtime, number 2, and Section 6, benefits in uniforms, be changed to reflect the following. Section 5, compensation plan, C, overtime. Overtime pay will be granted based on all hours credited during the week. Holidays will be considered as hours worked for overtime pay purposes. Insert, all established full-time, non-exempt employees shall receive overtime pay in all cases where they are asked to work or are called out for work after their regular scheduled work hours, except in cases where the overtime is coupled with time off without pay and the actual hours worked are not over 40. Employees in established part-time positions will receive overtime pay for hours worked on holidays. Section 6, benefits in uniforms. Public Works Department. The city will pay for 1/2 of the cost of renting and laundering uniforms with a limit of $150 per year and a boot allowance of up to, strike $75, insert $100 per year. Cable TV Department, meter readers, Recreation Department, water treatment plant, and wastewater treatment plant. The city will pay a clothing allowance of up to $150 per year and a boot allowance of up to, strike $75, insert $100 per year.
Entertain a motion.
Well, I make a motion to approve the municipal order M 2015-22.
Second.
Second by Councilman Williams. Discussion.
Yeah, this,
Go ahead, Fred.
okay, the change to all established full-time non-exempt employees, what was the issue there?
It was, when we first wrote the personnel policies, and at least when this went in there, we didn't hardly have any part-time employees, and the ones we had, it was never an issue. And what's come up is now we have more part-time employees in the IT department, in the fire department, and it's come up that on holidays, we would ask the part-time worker, a part-time worker might be asked to come in on that holiday, but if it didn't happen to be their regularly scheduled, and some of them may not even have regular scheduled hours, then they were getting time and a half as a part-time employee, which was not the intention. So a full-time employee, the idea was that they get anything over 40 by law, but also we extended that to be any time they were called in after their regularly scheduled time. If you come in and we ask someone to come to the water plant, someone gets sick, they have to come in at midnight, we pay them overtime for that. But now with lots more part-time employees, that's become an issue, and it's not a big deal. It was never intended to be used that way, because a part-time employee might only work two days a week, and then say, hey, can you come in tomorrow? And they say yes, but it shouldn't necessarily be overtime.
I have a question regarding the uniform policy. Can you just explain to me how it works currently? Do they bring in a receipt? Is it added to the check, or how is it done?
Well, when they buy a pair of boots, it's the boots of their choice. Yes, they bring in a receipt to show what they give for the boots. Right. We reimburse that. I think that's on their check. Is that correct?
Correct.
And they would do the same for the renting of uniforms?
Right. And go back to the shoes. It's like now, since risk management Greg Ashworth has got involved, he's requiring them to wear steel toes where it's needed, such as the water down at the sewer plant where they have to handle bottles and big things that are required to have those, and they cost more money than what they did years ago. And I think $75 has been in there for many years, hasn't it?
1992.
1992. So now their boots have gone up since then. So and those are a requirement, and I think some of the public works guys are required to have them. So. And he's just enforcing the OSHA rules. So. Oh, you already got one? All right. So, motion on the floor is to approve this order M 2015-22, the personnel policy overtime and boot allowance. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is adopted.
Municipal order number M 2015-23, a municipal order accepting the application for an assessment moratorium certificate for the property located at 103 West Stephen Foster Avenue, Bardstown, Kentucky. Be it ordered by the City Council of the City of Bardstown, Kentucky, Section 1, that the application for assessment moratorium certificate for the property located at 103 West Stephen Foster Avenue, Bardstown, Kentucky, is hereby accepted, and further expressing the city's intent to grant an assessment moratorium to the owner of said property upon compliance with the city's property assessment and reassessment moratoriums as defined in KRS Chapter 99.595 at C. Section 2, that this order shall take effect and be in full force when passed and recorded according to law.
Entertain a motion.
I make a motion that municipal order M 2015-23
Motion by Councilman Simpson. Second by Councilman Buckner. Discussion. Motion on the floor of the municipal order M 2015-23, the tax moratorium 103 West Stephen Foster Avenue. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it, motion is adopted. Number 12, any city council member comments?
Yes. I just wanted to, this is in reference to the Bourbon City Festival. Thank you to all the personnel, the police, the firefighters, the EMS, and the volunteers. It seems that the festival went without incident, and that it was a success. So it shows that Bardstown has a heart, and that we stand together and make things happen. So I just wanted to thank everyone involved, because it takes a lot of volunteers, a lot of hard work to make sure that this runs smoothly, and that we keep the Bourbon Festival right here in Bardstown, Kentucky. Also, I wanted to state about the 2015 flag dedication event at my Old Kentucky home, State Park. I was in attendance, and Coach Rowe was there, and it was very emotional to know that a curious 9-year-old was able to look at a flagpole and see that a flag was not there. And how many of us have been out to my Old Kentucky home, State Park, and may have or may not have noticed that a flag was not flying. I am not a part of the VFW. I am a veteran of war. But it was very emotional, and the speeches were awesome. And I want to thank Dr., and I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Trizot, for his efforts, and his daughter for bringing that together. It was a great event. And if it happens again, I hope more veterans will come out, and citizens come out and raise the flag together.
Anything else?
She said what I was going to say.
Okay,
Sorry.
we're 13, we're moving forward. Cemetery deeds. If there's no objections, we will adopt a motion to approve the cemetery deeds for Kevin and Susie Martin, James and Jane Richardson, Junie and Gloria Pennington, and Robert and Elizabeth Cecil. If that's okay, I'll adopt a motion by unanimous consent since there's no objections. Thank you. Announcement, we'll have the Kentucky League of Cities Convention next week in Owensboro, Kentucky. So, a little bit of entertainment out there. Education, a lot of classes to be looked into and to take, so.
Mayor, if I'm in order, I'd like to make a motion that we not have a working session on October the 6th.
It's yours, you're the council.
It's okay with me.
So is that a second? Is that a second?
I was gonna say, is that a second?
Got a motion by Rowland, a second by,
Vote on that.
by Councilman Hagan.
I guess it only takes one of us to want it,
Yeah.
probably. Anyway, it's okay with me, we don't have so.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Ayes have it, just no meeting. Okay, again, so we have the, again, I'm going to announce that we will now go into executive sessions pursuant to KRS 61.8101B to deliberate the future acquisition of real property by a public agency, but only when a public agency is likely to be affected by the value of the piece of property. Can I have a motion?
Motion to go to executive session.
First by Councilman Williams, second by Councilman Buckman. All in favor? Ayes have it. We'll go into executive session.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Bryant,